Welcome to Stare Economics! Today we're going to be talking about the short-run Phillips curve,
the long-run Phillips curve,
and deflation and disinflation.
So, Econ babies, here is the SRPC graph. It shows the trade-off between inflation and unemployment because there is an inverse relationship.
That's right. And over here is the AD and AS curve. And as you guys can see, it's basically just a mirror image of SRPC.
AD is composed of 4 elements, the first one being consumer spending, C. So, for example, tomorrow it will be scientifically proven that smartphones will make you smarter. Therefore, AD will increase. And being a mirror to the SRPC graph, it will result in a movement along.
So, the second element of the CGIX is I, investment spending. So what if one day the interest rates go up? Then naturally businesses will decrease their investment spending, therefore shifting the AD to the left. This will cause a movement down along the SRPC.
So the third element of AD is government spending. So what if tomorrow the government cuts our taxes, or disposable income would increase and we would have more money to spend, therefore increasing demand. So on the ADAS curve graph, it would be a shift upwards, and mirroring it to the SRPC graph, it would be here, and it would be a move up along the line.
Alright, Econ babies. So here's the last element of AD, X to the N, which means export minus import. So what if one day all the countries in the world decide that they don't want to buy Taiwan products, and therefore AD would shift to the left, which would correspondingly on the SRPC curve cause a movement downwards. So guys, we're going to be talking about the changes in AS. And as you guys all know, the shifters of the AS curve are I, R, A, and P. So the first thing would be I, which stands for inflationary expectations. So let's say tomorrow that you know that there's going to be inflation. Oh no. So therefore, if you're a producer, you're going to decrease your production today, which would shift the AS curve to the left. And then on the SRPC curve, there would be a rightward shift of the SRPC. And do you guys know what this is called? That's right, it's stagflation.
The second element of IRAP is R, resource prices. So here, for example, oil prices would drop and then it would take less to make more, so AS would also rise, resulting in a rightward shift in AS, and mirroring this, there would be a leftward shift of SRPC.
Okay, so the third element of the AS shifters is A, actions of the government. So one day maybe the government decides that there's too much corn in the economy. So then the government would decide to lower subsidies given to the poor corn farmers. Therefore, there would be a leftward shift in the AS curve. And on the SRPC curve, there would be a rightward shift, which also leads to, you know it, stagflation.
Last but not least, the fourth element of IRAP, P, productivity. For example, what if there was more public schools? There were more schools for you to go. There would be an increase in productivity, which would lead to AS shifting to the right. And mirroring that, SRPC would shift to the left.
And now it's time to talk about the long run Phillips curve. So the Lana-Phillips curve shows us that in the long run, there is no trade-off between unemployment and inflation.
LRPC will always land on NIRU, which is the non-accelerating inflation rate of unemployment, which is usually about 4 to 6%.
So now we're going to be talking about disinflation. What is this, you ask? Well, basically, disinflation is a process of bringing down the inflation embedded in people's expectations. So what's the problem with disinflation? Well, first of all, it's very rare because it's very costly for the government. It is very, very expensive for governments to try to bring down inflation. And second of all, disinflation has to do with the government's credibility. And sometimes, well, we all know that we don't trust the government that much. So that is a big problem.
Teacher, what's deflation? What? How dare you say you don't know what deflation is? Deflation is a lowering of price level, unlike inflation, because inflation hurts lenders and helps borrowers, but deflation hurts borrowers and helps lenders. Lenders will give out money that's worth less to borrowers, and when deflation happens, borrowers will give back money that's worth more, therefore hurting borrowers and helping lenders.
Teacher! Yes, my baby Econ student? What is the liquidity trap? What is the liquidity trap, you ask? That's a very good question. Well, so basically, the liquidity trap is the fact that inflation rates cannot go below zero. Why, you ask? Well, basically, if the lenders have to lend out their money at a negative interest rate, this would actually mean that they have to pay their borrowers just to borrow their money. What sense does that make? It makes absolutely no sense. Therefore, lenders would not lend out money at a negative inflation rate. Which brings us to the point that this actually limits the efficiency of monetary policy because you cannot lower the interest rates below zero. And this brings us to a point that this zero is called the zero bound, which is the line that you cannot cross with monetary policy. So that's it, kids. Remember, you heard it first from Stair Economics. So next we're going to be talking about changes in AS. And as you guys all know, my glasses are gone.